Welcome to Journeys of Empowerment. I'm 𝘁𝗵𝗶𝗀𝘀. This is a space to slow down and pay attention to what is shifting beneath the surface. Through honest conversations with inspiring, impact-driven female founders, we explore the moments that change us, the questions that refuse to disappear, and the choices that quietly reshape the direction of our lives. There comes a point when what once felt right no longer fits. Not because you failed, but because you've grown. And somewhere beneath the noise, a quieter voice begins asking to be trusted. If you're drawn to the conversation that go beyond success and into what it truly means to live with clarity, courage and intention, you're in the right place. What if the moments that leave the deepest scars can also become the moments that shape our deepest purpose? Not because we choose what happens to us, but because we choose what we do with it. In this episode, I sat down with Eline Schoonen, founder of Being, entrepreneur and someone who has refused to let life's unfairness define her. Instead, she turned to those experiences into a mission to help people feel safer, heard and valued. Together, we explored what it means to challenge systems that underestimate human potential, how healing can begin when we find the courage to tell our story, and why psychological safety isn't a nice to have, but something every person deserves. We also spoke about building technology that strengthens empathy instead of replacing it, and how lasting change often begins with one person deciding that this is not okay. She kept it simply. Be gentle to yourself. It will all be well. And this one stayed with me. I don't want anyone else to experience what I've experienced. For me, that's the heart of this conversation. When pain becomes purpose, it creates ripples far beyond ourselves. Let's get into it. Eline, welcome to Journeys of Empowerment.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
It's interesting. I just briefly, we went to our preparations based upon our previous conversation we had, and also with the central theme, which we will share in a few moments. And then I shared the only question, which is a sort of quote-unquote fixed question, and the rest is non-scripted, and let's go with the flow. But the first question enables us, but also a really bit try to force us to look to the future and envision the future. And because Journeys of Empowerment is, of course, about our journey, and our journey is the reward. So, having said that, my invitation to you is to pause and reflect, but first, look at the future. And, Eline, who do you aspire to become?
Well, you're always evolving, right? So I don't think there's like this end point that I will be the version of who I want to be. It will be until my death. But that being apart, the best mom I can ever be to my son Tijn. He's now 6. And professionally, I don't know the English word exactly, but philanthrope.
Yes, philanthropical.
Yeah. I would love to be that, to set up several projects, or as you may how you want to call it, but doing good for planet and people. Either in building myself projects or supporting them, projects close to my heart. And I think we have there a mutual interest.
We do.
But yeah, that's so. For me, I think purpose and profit can go hand in hand very well together. And I hope professionally I can become a person that builds these things that, besides setting up an organization or a project, really have impact on human beings and the planet. Is that too big of a dream?
No. The only challenge in life is if we have to put that in, let's say, 3 to 5 words, what would it be?
A giving back entrepreneur.
Well,
It's not there. It's not an official name, I guess, but I think it captures.
It captures a lot, except the most important role you started with, the motherhood.
Yes.
So, giving back to humanity.
Yes. Exactly. And I think that's also I hope for my son, a good education.
An example.
Because me and my husband, we raise him to the best of our abilities, of course. He goes to school, he gets a lot of love and attention. But also professionally, I want him to see the world being more than just make money. Because, for me, that's not enough. It's not fulfilling enough. So I think it's good that he sees that we can, make a living. And we can go on vacation and have quality time together, while also doing something good for humanity.
As you have, when we had a conversation before we started recording, tons of questions. I saw that. I saw a light bulb and I saw so many question marks there above your head. And was like, okay, but if I'm allowing myself to ask just one question, is about what you've just shared, is how much of that urge to become someone who is really invested so much in giving back to humanity, do you believe is inherited, so nature versus nurture?
Oh, good question. Yeah, I think both. It's grey, I know. But, the 𝘁𝗵𝗶𝗀𝘀, there's something, a force within you. I think you, along the way, you get this, things shape you, experiences shape you, and it's how you cope with them. And from nature that defines how you cope. But I think the experiences along the way, also from home, but also in school and in work, for me, that's nurture. So, the combination makes, I think that defines a lot. So the things you get on your path and how you then cope as from nature.
Yeah.
I mean, ignoring is, I think, it would be easy, right? But that's not...
What do you mean by ignoring?
Well, if you have experience, good or bad, ignoring is short term easy because it isn't there, right?
But it always comes with a cost.
Exactly. But that's a way of coping. So that's nature, and I think my nature is to choose not to ignore or not to accept easily. So
easily? Do you?
Not. I don't accept easily.
No.
No. But that's what I mean. So nature and nurture. I think there's a force within me that that I want to do. That I want to challenge the norm. And along the way, by nurture, there are things that give me experiences that I can shape.
And do you see already in your son some of the signs of that? Well, can I be so free to say I think you're not offended when I say you're sort of rebel with a cause?
It's a compliment.
It's a compliment. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So I'm free. Okay, I'm safe. I'm still safe in my home studio right now. So luckily, but how much do you see also already signs in your son?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah,
he's very fiery. But I love that about him. When we were pregnant, I was super happy, of course, and. Whoever this human being would be, it would be perfect anyways. But I had this silent wish or something, like we were joking and I was like, it's good if he's, a bit of a rebel, and he's fiery. And
be careful what you wish for. Right?
No, exactly. So now people are laughing like.
No.
But yeah, I like it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if your husband agrees with this, because now he has at least 2 rebels.
Yes.
Or he's the third.
Well, he says he has to laugh, right? That comes from you, he says.
Okay, nice. And we stumbled upon a central theme for our conversation, which resonated with both of us, and it's turning unfairness into change. It's easy to right away ask the question, okay, if you close your eyes and look back at your complete journey all the way back, what are the first signs where this one is being challenged? So that's sort of the question which will come. So turning unfairness into change, what are the first inflection points in your life which were pointing at that sort of unfairness? But before we do that, I like to train us a little bit to get on the same page, at least when it comes to your definition of unfairness. What do you mean by unfairness? Because then we can travel along with the same sort of lens, looking to the same sort of lens when we're talking about unfairness.
Well, I think as broad as you can look at it, I mean, we're all born the same, and then somewhere along the way there are systems and biases that make that we treat people differently, and that can be in unequal pay. But for me, it is as simple as saying hello to the janitor. I don't make a difference in if somebody's up in the hierarchy, which I don't like by default already. That people are doing really nice to the director or whatever. And
kissing their way up.
Kissing their ass. But then to the janitor, they don't say anything. And for me, that's already not fair. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. So it goes always in pay and, just being human to each other by saying hello, have the courtesy to just ask how someone's day is.
True. Okay. Let's go all the way back to the earliest experiences when it comes to turning unfairness into change. Because in the end, where we are here now, is that you turned all that experience in a force for good in your company, the Inc.
Yes.
So let's go all the way back and figure out what the intrinsic fuel and motivation, if you will, behind that company is. By looking at it through the lens of turning unfairness into change, what were the earliest experiences where that got compromised?
I think, one good example is I played baseball from a very young age, as the only girl between the boys, and because there was not a softball team for my age. That's already, if you think about it, I mean, I like to play softball. I think maybe many more, but there wasn't supported. So already there was the weird one,
But how did you figure out that you want to do that? If it wasn't very uncommon in your environment, did you figure it out on school, elementary school? How did you? All of a sudden you woke up and you said, "Okay, I want to play baseball." No.
We had a baseball team in the city where I lived, and my I have 2 older sisters and a twin brother. And my
2 older sisters and a twin brother.
Yeah, I'm the youngest, the rebel. And one of my sister went to play there. So I had a look and thought, oh, that might be nice. So I went there, and my twin brother too. So together we started in the same team. And I was the only girl, but I loved it because I was one of the guys, and they really included me and feel I really belonged. And we had a really close team, so really had a nice time. And then I started, I think, when I was 6. And then, I don't know, at the age of 9, 10, whatever, I was selected with 2 other boys from the team for this talent scout program in the Netherlands to play in a higher level. So we went there, and all summer we trained and did our best. And I'm a bit of competitive. I like sports. I like to win. Yes.
A bit competitive. Yeah. I have difficulties. So if I ask you, do you play board games or whatever? Do you okay? And if you lose,
it's not. I don't like it, and I try to make up excuses before being to that point. So I have a good anecdote of one of the. Do you know Colonist of Catan?
Yeah, of course.
It's a bargaining game, right? Yeah. And then at one point I had 10 cards in my hand, and if they throw 7, you have to give away your cards. But I was winning, but then they threw 7, so I had to put up my cards, and I said, if I have to quit, or if I have to give him in, I quit. The game's over.
No, terrible.
Yeah, it's so terrible. But yeah, they couldn't, so they let me play. And I went, anyway.
Yeah, of course, you knew that. Yeah, that's part of the play.
Yes, I thought it was a genius bargain.
Yeah, you thought at least. But let's skip then the word bit.
Yeah, a bit. Okay, so I did my best and trained all summer. And then in the end, you have this jury selection thing to go to the next or the final round. And they told me literally, like, you by far were, in the top 3 among the best, but we cannot let you through because you're a girl. And I was struck.
Of course.
Because I was like, why am I invited? Why am I, training here for months and then get this answer? That was really unfair to me. But it was the way it is, so I had to accept, and I got to go home. So that really, and it's small, it's in sports, you're young, but still this was, it didn't seem right.
No, that didn't feel right.
It was discrimination.
Unjust. And when you came home, can you still recall what kind of, did you talk about it, or did you implode or explode?
I can't remember really.
Okay.
I gotta say, I mean, we were with 4, right? So my parents, they had their business and their practice. My dad was a doctor, so they were really busy. So also going to the sports, they outsourced because they had 4, right? So I was on my own, or doing my thing. I don't know. Maybe I can imagine it was also a relief, because if I had to play higher, the distances for traveling, it got more complex. So,
and the reason why I'm asking is that when you experience something, well, at least impactful, doesn't necessarily always have to be traumatic or dramatic, but impactful, it planted a sort of seed. And where I'm always curious is, who was there for you at that moment?
Good question. I don't recall. Maybe that says enough.
I don't know. Maybe the question is never asked, and you stumble upon, I could have had a conversation with my twin brother or whatever, but you can't recall. Now that okay, so you came home with that experience. You had to deal with it.
Yes. Yeah, suck it up and go on. So that was interesting. So I moved on, and but that was very takenant. Very. It's stroke for me. It was very a highlight. And then at the school,
elementary school,
primary
school. Yeah, primary school.
Primary school, indeed. I was kind of this rebel kid.
No, you.
I was very being social and interacting and, making a party out of the day.
For yourself and
others.
fellow students, but not for the teachers necessarily.
No, it was the entire day was full of entertainment. I love gymnastics,
𝘁𝗵𝗶𝗀𝘀.
Yeah, it was really fun, good times. But so I was especially being, busy with social interactions and, friends and these kinds of things. So then in the last grade, you get the CITO-toets, you get these exams, and then go to the, to the high school. And then at some point in summer, I didn't have the feedback yet of my exams, and the head of the school, he lived in the house behind us, and I was walking the dog, and he said, "Wow, Eline, have you seen your exams?" I was like, "Nope, couldn't care less." Gotta say honestly. And he told me, like, everybody in the teacher room, we spoke about it because we were thinking the results were scrambled or something happened with it. It's like, no idea. So I don't know. So I went to this last conversation with the teacher where they give you the advice.
Yeah.
And I was with my mother, and we sat down, and he told me, like, okay, we all agreed that we wanted to put you to special schooling. Yes, because of your behavior. But your your results were extraordinary. So we decide for you that you can go to the middle path to go to the MAVO. So some kind the middle way.
And of course you agreed right away.
Well, back then you had to follow the instructions. You couldn't say, like, we go now to something.
Second opinion or whatever.
Second opinion. But I was pissed because my exams told me, I don't know, VWO, whatever, much higher, and they told me you go do this. So I was like, we'll see about that. This conversation is now over. I will be back in 5 years with at least a HAVO diploma, and you'll see.
Is that a part what you thought? Or
No,
is that the part you vocalized?
I vocalized. I stood up, and I told him I don't agree, because it's unfair. I mean, you now punish me for being social, and I'm just a kid. I'm 12 years old, but my cognitive side, it shows a different thing. So you punish me, and I thought it was unfair. So I stood up. I told him, "We'll see. I'll be back in 5 years with a different diploma, and this conversation now ends." So I walked to the door, and my mother was still sitting there, and I said, she was like struck, so she was silent, and I said, "Mom, come on, we're done talking. We leave now." "Oh, okay." So she tagged along, and she didn't say a word to the teacher. And then I had to do what they,
you had to conform and to comply.
I had to conform to the system, which I didn't agree to. And I proved them wrong. So I did only 4 years of HAVO, which normally is 5 years. And indeed, I delivered the promise. So after 5 years, I came back and said, "Told you so." The system wasn't right. Or they tried to force me in the system, and it didn't fully fit for me.
No, yeah, that's where my question pops up in my mind is, we tend to talk about systems, but is it the system thing in this specific case? Is it a systems thing, or is it a people thing?
Well, I do think system, because they enforce, and I do understand, because they have many kids to school, so you have to have some sort of system to, go through the mass.
And grade, and yeah.
But if you are different, the 80%, I think the system works. It's mass production, it works. But if you're different, either way, up or down or whatever, the 20% they don't have an answer for.
No, slightly deferred, and it's already becoming challenging.
Yes, and I was in the 20% behavioral, but also intellect, they couldn't match. So they didn't have a solution, but still I had to comply to the system, but I rejected. And I already found at my son's school, first grade, same thing. So I took him out of school, put him in another one.
What did you discover then? What did you see happening already in the first grade of school?
He's a smart kid, and I think smart also in the 10%. So it's hard to give him the attention or things he needs. And we tried to have a conversation, or we had a conversation, and I was like, how are you going to have him involved? Because I don't want to see him either get bored and then go into the way I used to be, like apgoy, or in his behavior being accelerating. Yeah. So you have to challenge him, and they were like, no, it's okay. And now so I thought it doesn't feel right, and I think a mother knows. So we got him out of school, put him in another one that has more of this attention to special needs either way. Yeah. And right away we didn't even ask or say anything, but right away they said he has to move up or go to another class, because otherwise he will act out in behavior. Yeah. So I was like, okay, thanks. So now it's all good, and the system works. Yeah. Do you believe the system works, or you were there based upon your own experience early enough to recognize and to act, because you act? Yes.
You think that's true. You act. So the question is, again, was it then the system which enables you to, or were you keen enough and also sensitive enough to see it because of your own lived experience and as a child yourself?
Yeah, I think indeed the second part, because if I hadn't been in the first year of my son's schooling, we had all these conversations with all these external parties. If I would have kept quiet, I think most people will, because these external parties, it's intimidating. Then nothing would have happened. So indeed, I sensed something and I acted, and I think for us that helped.
And so that was a strong example of you proved them wrong, and then we move on to around age 16. Unfairness.
Yep. In the, I think most, devious way you can experience as a woman, also as a man, maybe. I was 16, a happy kid in school, high school. I was toning it down a little bit, and so it was all good. Had a lot of friends, good things going. And we went out every Saturday night, socializing. And that night, two of my friends, they came to my house, and it was kind of a weird night as well, because before we biked to the city, I don't know why, I still don't, but I said to them, "Ooh, I don't know, this night feels off, and I think something bad is gonna happen."
You already said.
But I'm down to earth. Also, I'm also spiritual, but I sensed something. I never said something before, never. But I told them, "Oh, it doesn't feel right, but come on, let's go, let's have fun." So we went out, and we had a fun night, and then we biked back home. It was 3 a.m, something, and so we were with the three of us. And they had to go at some point to the left for the past some 100 meters, and I had to go to the right. And just before we split, I told them another time, like, "Ooh, I don't know, it doesn't feel right." And it's okay. Call me, text us when you're home. I was like, okay. So I went to the right. They went to the left. And within 10 seconds, I heard someone biking behind me, and I got the chills. And then I knew, ooh, this is it. I still can explain it, but very strange. Someone was biking behind me and I had to go home, and I was following this path home that I always take. And at some point I could choose to go left or right, and then I was home. And I know the right part was better. It was better lighted. But I chose left because I always did, and there was some force, I don't know, pulling, going there anyway, so I did. And then I could see my house basically, and this guy, random guy, he passed me in the park. He dropped his bike, so I couldn't go through. And he asked for a lighter, and I told him, you don't want a lighter. That's an excuse. And I wanted to go past, and he grabbed me off my bike. And that was really horrifying, very physical and abusive. So there was a fight. And but I think he was 180, 190, right? And I'm petite. But he threw me in a sloot. What is it? In a ditch, basically.
Yeah.
So a meter down, and my shoulder collapsed out of so it was out. So I had to pull it back in. But you're full of adrenaline, right? So I didn't feel it. You don't think, you just do
Fight
it.
or flight.
Yeah, indeed, fight or flight or freeze. But you can't choose. I think it happens.
It's the central nervous system what does the work.
Exactly. And, well, now I can say luckily for me, but you never know before, right? But the fight kicked in. So, and also I'm lucky, I think I did a lot of martial arts in my younger years, so that kicked right back in. And I think that was my survival. But yeah, so there was a lot of fighting, a lot of brutal fighting, and assault, rape, almost got killed, basically. Yeah.
Okay,
sorry.
You caught me off guard. So it did happen all along. I thought, oh, wow.
No, yeah, so I don't know how long it was. I think police reports will tell, but it was.
So it ended, did it, sorry to ask, but so did it end with you falling in the slope?
No. That was the start. And so he told me, I have a knife, and you have to work with me, blah, blah, blah. But of course I didn't, right? I'm a rebel. I don't, if people tell me what to do, I do the opposite. No, but it was a lot of fighting, and he also choked me. And at some point, really that long and hard, that I was thinking, ooh, I think I'm going to the other side, which is a weird experience because, hopefully you only live it once. But the strange thing is, if you experience that, you also experience the flip side. So although it may sound strange, but now I can say it's been a good experience because I appreciate life so much. Because when you wake up the next day, you're super glad you're here. Because I know every day is a gift. And I know time here is short. And I want to make the best out of it. That's what I can say now. Because you've been at the flip side.
Yeah. Please allow me a little bit to process what you've just shared. Of course, we had a conversation in a video call, but we didn't deliberately went so deep because either it happens or not in the podcast itself. First and foremost, thank you for sharing.
Welcome.
And wow, Eline. Being a father of daughters.
It's vulnerable, right?
Being very temperamental. as you can see, system 101 error in my head, if I think about it.
Can imagine.
So,
since I've been a mother, now I can understand maybe what my parents went through, back then.
I hope you don't.
No,
because then, yeah.
True, but having having a child, it's different, right? You can explain it, but you know how precious life is.
And how vulnerable also.
Vulnerable. My son almost choked in apple when he was 2, in front of my eyes, and I, of course, I handled and I pushed it out. But there was
instead of the 𝘁𝗵𝗶𝗀𝘀, because little children in 𝘁𝗵𝗶𝗀 can go easily wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah, did you know that?
I didn't know.
You have to sequence. So you have to do it differently than we do it in, because of everything is so small. But our reflex is.
Like well, luckily I didn't.
You didn't. I
tapped
him on his back.
Yep, and a friend later helped. But anyway, so I saw how fragile it was, and I think that was even a worse experience than what I just told you, because it's your kid, so vulnerable. So, but when I experienced that, and it's only 4 years ago, right? But then it made me realize what Tijn is to me. I am to my parents. So, I've been in this case, when I was 16, the victim, and it's horrific, of course, very traumatic. But also for your inner circle,
of course,
parents, it's even more harsh. Now, being a parent myself, but
of course. Is it okay to ask a question around it? And you can, of course, decide, okay, Michiel, but it's not okay for me to answer. I don't feel. So the question I have is that experience. And now being able, of course, I can see it has made an impact, and it has an impact. How did you find a way to live through and be who you are, where you are right now in this stage of your life? How did you find a way to move on?
I don't know. It just happened. I didn't do anything, special, or, there's no written text or guidebook like how to cope with this. For me, at least, there wasn't. But I was 16. You're in the middle of your puberty, and high school, and people gossiping and stuff. So. And that was the time you just had cell phones, so people were texting me as well. And my dad went to the high school as well. He never went, by the way, right? So we always had to figure out the stuff by ourselves, and get along in life, cope. So they prepared us from a young age, which is good. So he only went to school once, and that was back then when that happened, just to inform school, because I was in my exam year. Like, just so you know, this was October, and then the exams were coming up. Just so you know, this happened. It's traumatic. So if you see anything with Eline, please let us know so we can handle, right? So I think that was really nice of him to do. And my parents told me, stay at home as long as because you have to cope and deal and, find a place. So this was Saturday and Sunday, and I said, I'm going to school on Wednesday. And they told me, no, you have to stay home. I was like, why? Because what am I doing here? It's boring, watching TV, I don't have any
interaction.
No. I have to get back on the horse. I think that's my medicine. I think it's good just to, get back in life. I'm here. So that's what I did. So my parents told me no, I went anyway.
Of course, you being you.
Yeah. And I think that that was good for me. Yeah. But I remember this Tuesday, so just before I got back to school, I was, going through the city with my mom, I think for coffee or lunch, or she wanted to give some distraction. And I walked into a teacher, but he didn't know yet, I think, what happened. He hadn't heard. So I had this black eye ride, and I was, and my arm was in this sling.
Mitella. Yeah.
So I was quite, bummed up, or how do you say it? Wrecked.
Beaten up.
Yeah. And, but he was uncomfortable, and how was your weekend? Party hard? I was like, oof. But he couldn't know, right?
Okay, but
these assumptions...
Of all the things you can say...
Exactly.
If, and then rough weekend or whatever.
Yeah, it's bad. But these assumptions are so dangerous. And I was... and my father was the doctor in this... Yeah, it's actually a village within the city, so it's a small community. So interesting what the kids of the doctor do, right? So the eyes are on you. And
especially on the rebel.
Yeah. That Sunday, so police came in the night. So people didn't see the cars. They left when the morning break. But of course, there was a lot of talking because the park was all, how do you say that? There was a lot of police. They set out the territory.
Perimeter, and
there was even a helicopter. So I think they did a really good job to catch the guy. So people were talking, and but they didn't know who it was. And we had a really good relationship with our neighbors. We had also this porch, so we walked just to the garden, back and forth, and they were like second parents to us. Really, really sweet people. And they were, we were like their children they never had. And then the lady, she came into the kitchen not knowing that it was me. And she told my mom, and I was sitting there, right? Or eavesdropping. Yeah, and it's horrible, but how stupid. I mean, why is a girl biking alone to her home at night? I mean, she shouldn't have been there. And then...
And you heard that?
I heard it. And my mom, she's really polite until a certain level, and she was like, get the hell out. So I found it nice because she stood up for
protected
me.
You.
Yeah. But also this assumption, it's very hurtful. Right?
There's a whole campaign around it right now, right?
Exactly. Text me when you're home. It's ridiculous. It is. We always go guarded. Women, you look out for yourself because you have to. But I don't agree because we shouldn't have.
No, of course
right?
not. Of course
and
not.
that's so unfair to me. And also this assumption of my neighbor, I was like, so I'm the bad guy or woman. You should blame the other, right? So of course that's very impactful, and what happened to Lisa back in last year. I put my story away for a long time, wrapped the bow around it, and
that's what I was a little bit afraid of. That's why I asked you about the navigation. Just get on the horse and get back on the horse. But that doesn't necessarily mean, okay, but what happened to you travels with us, right?
It does. Yeah, it does. So it worked for me for a long time. So I didn't want to have like doctors or therapy, nothing. Resisted. And I did my thing. Also have an interesting story about the exams. I'll tell you later. But when Lisa happened last year, something cracked because her story, it felt so familiar to me, with a different ending. Luckily for me. But I really felt broken for her and her family. So I couldn't sleep of it. So I got up at night, even though, I had to work my jobs. And I bought this domain a couple of years ago, gendergap.nl, genderkloof.nl, unconsciously maybe. And I built a website to prove that there is a gender gap. So I put data onto it and also stories of women to give the data a face. But data on pay, but also physically and, sexual abuse, you can't deny it. If people say, it's not only men, no. But there is a big difference. Men don't text each other when they go home. All women do. So when that happened with Lisa, something fired up again within me, and I got out of bed at night and I thought, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to build this website, and I put it out there. And I asked people to share their stories to give the data a face. And I thought, well, if I ask, I have to lead by example. So I, together with a very good video maker, we recorded a very short video where I share my story and the importance of why I do it, because we all have to get back safely. We're all the same. So, so I did. It was very uncomfortable, but I'm happy I did, because afterwards, the reactions I got, they were so amazing. From all corners of the Netherlands, at work, friends, everyone's like, wow, your story, it's amazing. And I myself experienced this. Also men, not only women. So everyone opened up. And it was this kind of community starting, and really nice. So for me, that was, I think, well, unconsciously, the goal was reached. There was awareness in the circle I can create. And one person told me, I was never aware that you're so on guard when you go from A to B. I'm a man. I don't think about it. I just go home. So I told him, thank you for sharing, because that was the goal. I'm happy you're aware. And I hope that has a ripple effect. So everyone eventually can go home safely to their home. And now, I'm doing it at work.
Is the website still live?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, we are going to share it in the show notes.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So, yeah.
And just, sorry to jump in. Would you give yourself the 16-year-old the same advice when it comes to the coping, or would you have whispered something in her ear? And what would that be?
I think I would whisper now, be gentle or be kind to yourself, and it all will be well. All will be well. Give some comfort. It all works out. I knew then, but still you don't know how or when or, but yeah, be gentle. I think sometimes I was hard on myself. I don't know why.
You do.
Nature and nurture.
Nature, I believe.
Yeah. So be gentle. Yeah.
And are you gentle now?
More. Learning.
I catch you in the same word at the same time.
Yeah, learning.
Wow. Eline, allow me to watch our podcast to 5 minutes just let it sink in before we move on. How does it feel for you to talk about it in the podcast?
It's okay. It feels right. And thank you for giving me the space and the comfort. And I think something for me clicked as well when I launched that website, because I buckled it in for 20 years. And of course, along the way, I always fought injustice. But this was my big,
coming out moment.
When it
comes to what happened.
And I do see now that since then it feels comfortable. Before, when people knew or asked about it, I was defensive. I had this trilling voice. I don't have it anymore because now it serves a purpose. Because I think it's good for people to know, although it might be a bit uncomfortable for me sometimes. It's good to know because it can help other people. The boy that says I'm aware now, I hope that he will be conscious when, he sees if something's odd or he brings people home, whatever.
I do believe it's so powerful that we open up and voice what happened. And also that brings me to a post which came on my radar, and I couldn't resist myself to reach out to her. And it's 𝘁𝗵𝗶𝗀𝘀, and she will come in my podcast, and she will talk about what happened to her. And that what she noticed is that we as humanity, so it's not somebody specific, but we as humanity, when there is someone out in the street begging for money, 9 out of 10, we tend to look away because it gives us an uncomfortable feeling. It's sometimes unconscious and mostly it's conscious, like, okay, it isn't there if we look the other way. The same she experienced, and this was my interpretation, and the same she experienced, and that post came on my radar, was that what happened to her, but also how it makes other people uncomfortable talking about it. So that resonates for me also with the conversation which will be recorded within a few weeks. So I reached out, I couldn't resist, and I was like, I have a podcast, have a look into it, and if you're up for it, I would love to have a deep dive into it, because I truly believe that the power of... There's so much in our undercurrent. We store so much and put so much away deep down, deep down, unconsciously, consciously, whatever. Out of shame, out of guilt, out of whatever drives us to do that. Society, expectations, obligations, opinions of others.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that it also influences our behavior and the way we look to the world and the way we feel ourselves navigating through the world. It doesn't, 9 out of 10, it doesn't help us.
No.
So what my big wish is also for Journeys of Empowerment, the podcast is, first of all, I truly admire your openness, but also I hope that it's, but stopped and connects with what is coming. So, and I hope it'll inspire other people to find a person next to her or him, or to start talking about it. Because if we don't talk about it, it's not there, and that's not true.
Ignorance is bliss, right? But I fully agree. And now I can speak of experience, right? Because 20 years I locked it up. And now I really feel that it sounds weird maybe, but that I'm blossoming. I truly am. I am right where I should be. I'm exactly who I should be at this point, and it feels really good. So I'm happy I did, and I know it can be discomfort. It's not comfortable, but it's worthwhile if people open up and share, because you can learn from each other, and
It sounds like as if you find a way to release yourself out of a mental prison.
Yeah, I did. Because you think it's not there, but it is. It's unconsciously, and it will always be there in some form. But now it's okay. The sharp edges are gone.
Sort of EMDR.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Then the next episode is professionally. So it ultimately everything what you've been through ultimately fueled your entrepreneurial spirit to the max. But before we dive into being, there's one more sort of big theme also in the is it corporate life, or is it in the working environment where you think ultimately helped you?
It did.
It didn't feel like that maybe at that point. But okay, let's briefly go over that, and then we jump into being, because I'm utterly curious about being. And I hope the listener too.
They should.
Otherwise they're missing out. And you can find all the details in the show notes. Just wait and see. You can look her up. LinkedIn, being. And but first listen to her story. Yes, here we go.
Professionally.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I studied commercial economics.
Yeah.
So I passed my HAVO, right?
Yeah, of course.
That was also a thing, by the way. If
I
may,
the exam. Yeah, of course, the exam. That's what you mentioned.
Yeah, the anecdote.
Yeah.
So my dad went to school, and I was super proud of something that he did. And I did my sort of major or you had to do this profile thing, showcase, and I did economics. But the economics teacher, he really didn't like me. I can understand maybe because
I don't.
No? Oh,
No.
Thank you.
What is there a specific type of person who doesn't like you normally?
I do think.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting.
If they feel intimidated, he thought HAVO 5, so the upper, and I was doing drawings and I don't know other stuff, and he was like, my girl name is Dams. It was like, Dams, if you know it so well, come in front of the class and tell the story, tell the theory. I was like, yeah, sure. So I went in front of the class and I told the theory. And it's like, no, that's not right. Draw it on the board. I was like, yeah, sure. So I drew the method, and everybody understood, and it was just right. And yeah, he hated it, of course, because this girl wasn't paying attention, and I outsmarted him, so he didn't like it. But anyway.
Story of your life, so get used to it, and the world will also.
It's okay.
And the right persons.
It's okay, I have friends, and if some don't like me, it's okay too, whatever. So the exams were there, and I had this, weird period of, going through the trauma, and I had to do this profile on economics with a friend. This friend was also going to a very heavy stage because her mother had cancer. So we were both these troubled kids, and we did it together. But he really didn't like me, and when I gave my pieces, there was a red cross. It wasn't good, and no matter what I did, it wasn't good. So I told my friend, like, you go with my pieces to him and see if he then approves, right? And, well, he did. So that was interesting. So I went to him and I asked, like, maybe it seems like there's some bias because when I give you this stuff, it's not good. And when my friend does, it's good. And he told me in my face, that's right. I am making sure that you are not passing your exams. Just when my dad came to school, like, be a bit careful, he was like putting stones into my backpack to make it more heavy and more heavy. That's what it felt like for me. I was like, whoa, weird. Shouldn't you be here for the kids to
stimulate, inspire?
He did. In a sick way, he inspired me. In a negative
way, yeah.
But this went on for like a couple of weeks until the exams, and so bad that the last day of the exams we had to do the most profound profile because he was so hard on us. The troubled kids, he put stones on them, right? And then the director of the school, he came to me, and I was, sweating and doing the stuff, and everybody out was celebrating, and I was still doing work. And he was looking, he was like, go home, kid, you passed your exams. Because he knew, this was a toxic relationship. So above all miracles, I passed my exams without doing a re-examination. And you have to shake hands, with all the teachers. And I was like, oof, what am I going to do with him? But I was like, everybody is human. I'm going to shake his hand. I'm going to keep my head up. So I got really nice, celebrations from other teachers because they know the trouble, and it was, extra good that I passed. And then I came to the economics teacher, and I put my hand out, and he refused.
No.
Yeah, he looked away, and I was like, really? And I laughed, and I went on. So that was, that was also. I still don't know why. Yeah.
Let's unpack. I don't believe that you don't figure it out. What is your reading about that situation? Why did he turn his face away? What was?
Because I did pass, and he told me he wanted to make sure that I don't pass just because of who I am, or that he, and I did.
What was in? Was it a his? Or it was a he. It was a teacher.
Yeah, teacher.
And what do you believe was internally for him the driver of not wanting you to succeed?
I think, but it's assumption. It's right. But he was also an exam coordinator, so he had this extra position, hierarchy.
So you love hierarchy, right?
Exactly. I don't. I don't like.
No. Okay, don't go in there. You don't like it,
and he does because he had status at school. He was this boss of the exams, and I was rebel. I was also the chairwoman of the party committee for the, so I organized the exam.
And the results came quite easily without doing really, really hard work in his eyes. Maybe it came easy.
I think I think he believed I showed disrespect to him by don't give anything about hierarchy.
Don't give a fuck about that.
I don't give a shit.
No. And do you believe that that's ego at play?
For sure.
Okay, then we're there.
Ego.
So it's just 3 words. The answer is 3 words.
Yeah,
ego.
Right. Ego. Yeah. So it was interesting.
Anyhow, and
Oh yeah, then I finished the commercial economics. I went traveling for 8 months solo because my friends, of course, my friends were still in school. I was 21, pretty young, and I really wanted to travel. And it was or you don't go, or you go alone because you don't have a travel mate. And I don't want to regret things I didn't do. No. So I went, and I just bought my tickets, and for the rest, no plans. So I went. It was really amazing.
What did you see? Where did you go?
Asia, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the US.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did it teach you about yourself?
That I can take care of myself. And it was back in 2010, right? So before mobile phones and, with a book you had to travel. And I was pretty young, blonde, traveling alone. Yeah. I experienced this only 5 years before. So I was always on guard. So I was hyper alert, I think. So after 8 months, it was extraordinary what I saw and the people I met. Very good experience. But I was exhausted. Because you didn't have a body to look after you. But this is what I realized later.
Always on guard. Yeah. Always on high alert.
High alert, yeah. It's sort of survival mechanism.
Yeah, no, sort of. It is fight, flight, or freeze. And you were always in a sort of hypervigilance and always alert. And always when is the danger going to happen?
Yeah, exactly.
When is something going to happen? And then sense a sort of danger. Maybe it wasn't there, but because of the high alert feelings. Of course. But you did it anyway.
I did it anyway, yeah. And I followed my intuition. So that's what I learned as well. Trust your gut. Interesting wordplay. But I really trusted my intuition. Worked out well. And I also learned to be alone. Because I am one of twins, right?
Yeah.
So I was never alone. Not even in when we were in my mom. Like I was always with a companion. And I really liked in school, my friends, and, never alone time. So that's when I really learned to appreciate to be alone. So that was good.
Being alone without being lonely.
Yes.
Solitude.
Exactly. Yeah. But also, it's a good quote from Into the Wild. Happiness is only real when shared.
Yeah.
That's what I also truly believe, because you can be at the most beautiful places, do the, coolest hikes. But the memories that stick with me are the ones where I had companions and, where we shared laughter.
It's the same as sharing awe. We just spoke a little bit about the book, was lying that sense of awe is only really sort of profound when we can share a truly life-changing, perspective-changing moment together. A sort of aha or woha. You know that feeling. Woha! That feeling. Yeah. When you see the Niagara Falls or when you see something just simple in nature, and you think, wow, we are hardwired to share those experiences and then make it meaningful.
Exactly. That's beautifully put. Yeah.
Traveling, and then you came back.
I came back and I couldn't find a job because the market was bad, but I had education, but even though nobody hired me, so people were like, "Oh, you can get a fund or a subsidy." I was like, "No, I don't, because I can work. I'm healthy," and so I started at this how do you call it? A garden. They make the city clean and doing gardens. So I rode tractors, and cleaned the city, and with high pressure. It was very
intense, labor intense,
and also here people were laughing. Like I saw this mom from school, and she was like, "Eline, what are you doing? I mean, you're educated, you have wealthy parents." I was like, "What is your son doing?" "Yeah, he's at home, he couldn't find a job." I was like, "That's right, I'm working." And even though, my parents are always taught me, luckily, you gotta, make your own, do your own stuff. We're here if you need us, but figure out yourself on a very, very, very early age. Yes. So I think that was good. And it was a fun experience. So I did gardens and, crazy stuff for a couple months. And then this company was looking for a go-getter, someone who really, loves to work.
Yeah, the opposite of the go-giver. So here again comes the second hint. The opposite of the go-giver. So the go-getter, it's always going for the results, achievement, and accomplishments, and results. And the go-giver, it's an interesting concept, but it will become clear within a few minutes.
Okay, cool. I'm curious.
Not in this podcast.
Okay.
But we'll be after it.
All right. Good. Exciting. But so she was looking for a sales and marketing assistant, and just someone who rolls up the sleeves. So she called this agency that's in the city, but I dropped off my resume there. I was just, handing out resumes to everyone, including this agency. And then she looked outside, and I was, cleaning the city and doing the nasty work.
Somebody got to do it.
And she was like, "Well, I might know someone. She's cleaning the city right now." And the woman told me I need her.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're still friends, by the way. So this was years ago, and she hired me, and we had a lot of fun, and she showed me the ropes a bit. But then I was, still craving adventure. So I worked there for a year. And my sister lived in Vancouver already with a permanent residency, and she was like, "Oh, come along," and asked for, go for a visa. I was young, but I thought, what the heck? So I went on a working visa. So I moved to Vancouver. I sold all my stuff in the Netherlands, and we moved out there and set up a company.
Of course.
Yeah. We didn't have a plan. We just knew we wanted to be an entrepreneur and, see.
At what age was that?
22-ish.
Okay.
Yeah. Learned a lot. Also,
What kind of company did you start?
In snacks.
Okay.
Snacks, yeah. So because we...
Peanut butter wasn't there.
Well, we figured
Stroopwafels, stroopwafels.
Also, yes.
Oh,
𝘁𝗵𝗶𝗀𝘀.
really?
So we imported European stuff, and they went like... was good. But we figured out there that as a foreigner, we couldn't get a loan to start a business. We didn't look it up before. So, okay, we have to do something quickly to generate money to, have a living. So we did this. We just bought snacks and placed them at companies so they didn't have to go to, Wendy's and stuff. And so it was hard work, harsh sometimes also. It was, also the, experiencing the downsides of being an entrepreneur. But it was a very good experience in the end. So I did that. Then I had to leave the country because I didn't get my visa extended. So within 5 days I left, and I came back in the Netherlands with a bag full of clothes, and that was it. And I had to start over. And also the market then was still pretty bad. And did a lot of job interviews, even in Germany. And then there was one company that said, might be interesting, and hired me. And I was in the tech sector, so that's how I started in tech, pure by coincidence.
And what was your role in tech?
A sales assistant. So I shadowed the sales director. He was also the MD. A lot of complex, deal making and complicated words. I didn't understand anything, so I was just soaking it all in.
Most of the people who are talking complex words don't necessarily understand the words, even, right?
I figured that out too.
Yeah.
But
So what are you talking about? Because terminology doesn't ring a bell, so maybe you can elaborate a little bit more. Okay, now that's clear.
Yeah, exactly. But I like the environment and the complexity, and started doing marketing as well, and branched out in my own little shop. So I like it. It was a very masculine environment. Which works for me because I did baseball, right? I think I'm not the type of girl you want in this typically women environment.
I don't know. That's what you say, and I don't necessarily agree.
No?
No,
I
don't like to label. And myself not, and I don't like to label you yourself. That's not for me. I'm like, okay, why not? Which bullshit are you believing yourself?
Yeah, maybe it's an excuse.
But I can see you... connect everywhere. The thing is maybe more that is the surrounding able to value the level of intelligence and the level of energy you bring along. And for me, and maybe I'm projecting, but for me it's very recognizable because I think I have some sort of intelligence.
You do.
And but also it's obvious, even if I shut my mouth, I am highly energetic. And either you love that or you think, okay, this is a lot.
It has to fit, right?
Yeah, it has a fit.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
Now, and do you believe in fit, or do you believe in... I believe... More and more, I come to believe that I thrive in environments where we are able to allow each other to be.
Exactly. Wow.
Ooh.
That's so nice. It's so poetic. No, but you're totally right. And I do believe that's also good for companies. Because if everyone is being, then you can flourish. And... well, we come to that later, but that's exactly the reason I built Be Inc. Because, you hire me or you hire people for what they can bring to the table. You hire their talents. But if you compress them into a mold, it's a waste, because in a mold also there's a lot of rest product, rest talent.
Yes.
So why would you?
Snijvlies.
Yeah, it's a waste.
It's not sustainable.
No, I truly believe.
I truly believe too, and it's a waste. It's a waste of potential. Hey, but and it was a muscular environment.
Yes.
But you did like it there.
I did. At times I didn't.
Of course.
So I did experience along the decade, I think 15 years. I've also experienced myself, but also seen at others, inequality or, stuff that just isn't right. And when you're young, you think, is this the norm? Or you're going to question yourself. And I was, when I started in the first tech company, I was literally the only woman in the Dutch office. Which you get a lot of labels or pre-assumptions and biases, which was for me a starting point, because you don't know in the beginning, what is this? You have to figure it out.
And is it because of me, or is it what is it?
And I couldn't I didn't have a mentor or someone to
to ventilate about
it. To ask.
But you didn't have any peer women also around and
exactly.
could ask and benchmark. But are you experiencing the same sort of?
Exactly. I had no idea. Then I was 23-ish. So you think it's okay, but somewhere I always knew, like, okay, these things, these can be micro incidents or microaggressions or whatever, or in the wording, or also physically, but deep down it's not right.
Doesn't feel right.
But you're gonna maybe rephrase it for yourself, because you think you're happy you have a job and you're accepted, sort of.
Ish.
Indeed, ish. But you play, how do you say it? You make the story work because you really want to belong. Yeah,
but always at the cost of yourself.
Exactly.
Ultimately.
Yes.
In the long run.
Exactly.
It comes with a cost.
Yeah. But I think luckily for me, I'll give you one innocent example. I was 23-ish. I was sitting in the front desk. So I was hired for sales, but also doing, I did the visitors, getting
Jack
the
of all
drinks.
trades.
Yeah. And I had my hair up in a bun. And then a colleague came and wanted to ask, like, you want to walk with us for lunch? But I don't know if it was impulse, but he grabbed my bun and was like, and now I'm laughing, but I was like, my reaction was like, oof. And I said, fuck off, why are you touching me? And the hair. And he was like, oh, sorry, wasn't my intention. But still, it's strange, right? Because you sit there as relatively young woman starting your career.
That even doesn't matter. No, wait, sorry to stop you in your tracks. That doesn't even matter.
No, you're right.
It doesn't matter. You're almost justifying why then. No, for me it sounds like.
You're right.
Let me stop you in tracks. It doesn't matter where you were in the stage of your life and how old you were.
Totally
and
right.
You're young and ignorant and no. The first thing is, it's not appropriate, it's not correct to do such a thing.
No, exactly.
It doesn't matter. It's not.
No, you're right.
It's not because of you. So because you are young, because no,
it's not right.
And if you feel, that's what a little bit my sort of stance is. If it doesn't feel right, and with right I mean if it doesn't feel safe for you, then in and of itself it's already a reason, hopefully in future, to speak up about it. Like, hey, I don't know why, but for me it doesn't feel right if you approach. I hope we create in society, if you will, around that.
Well, yes, please, because that's that's why Be Inc. got life, so to say. This was early in my career, but later, after years of experience, something also didn't feel right, and I did raise my voice. And I told, like, I need a safe space. You need me to give a safe space because I am talent, You tell myself you want me for my performance and my energy, I hope. But it's not good for me. Help me to help you. Yeah. So, that being said, so I've experienced what culture does to the performance of an individual and eventually also teams and companies. I've seen the good side. So I've had the privilege to work with very good leadership, very attentive leadership, good culture, safe space. And you saw the people flourish, and they also uplift the company because happy people are happy to customers. Of
course, it's a ripple effect.
It's a ripple. They make healthy people make healthy organizations. The other is also true. Unhealthy people in an toxic environment creates unhealthy performances,
and our relationships and everything. So it's a ripple effect
for sure.
Yeah.
So I experienced both sides pretty heavily. So at some point I knew. Well, it was not at the day I woke up and this is the solution. But it, if you know me a little bit, this takes a long mingling and thinking about this, and this has.
Your brain is always on.
It's always on, and
you can see that.
Yeah. It is. But for me...
That's what I meant, sorry. But that's what I meant when I thought you have tons of question marks above your head right now. You can see, if you're a little bit sensitive, and I tend to think that I am, you see a lot of... I was telling my story and you were like... And I thought, and it was as if you saw a light bulb and a lot of questions around it.
I still have.
Yeah, I know. Oh, wait.
We'll come to that, but indeed. So I think I like to think, or
of course,
I have these conversations,
and it's lingering. It is something lingering with all the layered. It is a sort of meta. Our journey is a sort of meta experience, right? It's a sort of multi-layered meta experience.
I think so.
And for me, the whole red thread is so clear. Turning unfairness into change. That unfairness is the rocket fuel.
Yes, for me, indeed.
It's so clear.
Yeah.
I have one question. It's sorry, not sorry. When we started our conversation, I asked, okay, let's get on the same page when it comes to unfairness. With now looking back at almost the whole big inflection points in your life, if I would have to answer that question, like, okay, Michiel, but can you explain what you experienced in Eline's, and this is very dangerous terrain, but I'm going to do it anyway. You can kick me, whatever you may, pedagogisch verantwoorde tik. And, but here it comes. I truly believe that, I think that when it comes to unfairness, if I look to the lens of your life, it's crossing your boundaries. Crossing your boundaries of integrity, of physically or emotionally, spiritually. It's crossing the personal boundary. Because in everything what I hear some sort of overstepping, some sort of in the undercurrent. That's what I hear. And please, if you're not agree, please kick me, whatever. If you did, but the thing is, that's what I hear. I hear a sort of crossing boundaries in the.
Yeah, it's marvelous. I never you opened up you opened something up, because I never saw it like that. But you're totally right. I think you're totally right. Indeed, every section, right? Physical, emotional, spiritual.
Your whole, it's a sort of, you know, when somebody steps too close in your aura, you feel like, but it's on multiple aspects, elements.
Interesting.
I'm like, this is what I starting to hear from, hey, like, unfair payment, okay, but it's
deeper.
And of course it's all okay, to get, it's not a right or wrong, but if I look back to you, and that's a sort of the lens what we can look back together now, and I'm trying to grasp what you've just shared in our conversation. I hear a sort of crossing boundaries, overstepping, unsafety. Unsafety is because someone is overstepping in some sort of way, or crossing your boundaries, you know?
Totally right, yeah. And it's, if you put it like that, and if I look back, even though I've always been hard on myself and, you know, high expectations, I'm actually really proud that I stayed very close to myself. And I have a very strong, I think, moral compass. Young age, you know, back then with the baseball, but also later on, that I always stayed true and told people, you know, until here and not further. This doesn't work for me. Then we're not a fit. So, yeah, I think that's pretty
beautiful,
pretty nice.
So, are we able to bring it all together and bring it all together to be ink?
For sure. Yes.
So how does turning unfairness into change look into action? How do you put it into action?
Yeah, so at some point I was, you know, in my head and thinking, this has to change. And by it, I mean workplaces. Workplaces should be, you know, it's a second home for people. It should be safe for everyone, I think. And that would be good for the company itself, but also for industries. So we have to transform as a society, if you will. So, you know, I was thinking about this night after night after night, and, you know, what can I do about it? Because, you know, I walk the talk, you know, I put my money where my mouth is, always have, always will. So at some point I thought, like, okay, I can share my vision, but my hours are limited. I cannot copy myself. Well, with AI there are possibilities, but, you know, it's not scalable. Because, you know, I am thinking big. You know, I want cultural change, you know, worldwide, ideally. So I need to build with skill in mind. And how do I bring this cultural change into workplaces? And in my experience, culture gets shaped by communication a lot. We're communication animals. That's why, you know,
we're the only animal species who can communicate in the way we do.
Exactly. And because we can collaborate well and in complex forms, we're at the top of the food chain. So I thought this is interesting because this is also how companies work. But if this is so important, why do we care so little about it? Even if you think that COVID sped up a written communication overnight, you know, we went from having a conversation
digital,
you know, we have eye contact, we see the mimics, it all gets lost in written translation. But there's so much, you know, bias, unconscious bias, or a certain tone in communication, also written, but we don't do anything about it. So then I thought that's where my niche is, to, you know, make people aware. So yeah, I built Be Inc. Be inclusive, every human being. So, you know, that's the name. And it's basically a tool to, in the workday communication, help people to communicate, you know, better, more clear, and more inclusive.
And start with being more aware.
Exactly. So what my tool basically does is it reads along in the apps where people already work, email, Word, writing vacancies or whatever. And you have the side panel that is open, and it can interpret the context of your message. So it's way smarter than a grammar checker, that's very binary, is it right or wrong? It reads the context, and it flags, it nudges you if there's something a bit off in tone or inclusivity or in brand, but also tells you why. So you're micro-learning on the job continuously. So every day 1% better. And then it gives you also suggestions for replacement. So you just have to click and it's swapped in the document. So it's, that's basically
it. So it enriches your upbringing when it comes to inclusivity.
Yes, for sure.
Nice.
Thank you.
I think the complexity is in how are we able to de-bias our communication, right? And how to code that into guardrails, which enables us to improve our output.
Exactly, it is exactly that. Being is a sort of guardrail, a safety, like in a car. Your safety buckle, seatbelt. It's the same. Sometimes it might be a bit itchy or annoying, but you're happy it's there. And I see being the same way. And I hope that companies see it as a, not a tool per se, but a something that will help them to make cultural change on scale. So I think that's important because we all have habits, right? And bias. I also have biases. We
only have 188 or so biases in total, or 186. And I never thought you had any of those biases. No.
I'm only human.
Yeah. Okay, then you have a lot.
But habits are hard to break. Like, I think a yearly training won't do it. It's not enough.
No.
It helps for awareness, but it's not enough. But to make people aware of the unconscious habits they have to be nudged in the moment.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why and where I build it.
Beautiful. So, what is sort of the definition of success for your company?
That we are as normal, normally adopted as a grammar checker. So that the ink is in every organization, used by everyone. And you don't even notice. It's just there and it helps you. Just like a grammar checker says the word is spelled right or wrong. The ink says, the tone or, the message is, could be a bit better. Shouldn't
it be also turned inwardly and have big names as ChatGPT as a customer? So it de-bias ChatGPT.
Well, that's funny you say. Actually, it does in a way, because
it looks to the communication in the output, and then it looks through the eyes, and then for you individually it improves your communication.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. That okay.
But also, even if you write, with generative AI, we can create text way more quick than ever, or with Copilot, and that's great. But AI is biased by default. It's in the system, and there's a lot of research about it. You can speak to, the tech gurus or nerds, and they will all say the same. AI is biased because it has the view. It has a view of the world we created.
By the humans.
Yeah. So, but if we take it over bluntly and just accept it, we create more biases. So what I do with the ink, I place a filter in the communication part, even if it's generated by AI, to unbias the AI.
What would be the preferred type of customers for this kind of? Is it for consumer or is it for B2B?
Well, it's for workplaces.
Yeah, for workplaces.
For
okay, that's the first part. Yeah.
Who work with Microsoft or Google as written communication.
Yeah.
and who have actually my ideal customer would be companies who truly care about creating safe workspaces, better workspaces for their people.
But they don't have that on the forehead. So how do you know? How do you figure that one out?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So if
you're listening,
and only then you're listening to the number one favorite podcast, Journeys of Empowerment with Eline, then you don't want to miss out on this one, because we need to become aware of our communication and what we put out there.
We do. And in the end, in the mid, but especially in the long run, it helps companies as well to create better spaces, and that has a ripple effect on performance, top and bottom line. I did research with a company who's 𝘁𝗵𝗶𝗀𝘀 in Den Bosch, big tech company, also listed, and the feedback was amazing, because all of who were in the pilot, they all said it was kind of amazing, because I wasn't aware this could be phrased better, so it caught me off guard. Everyone said it. So going from unconscious to conscious was really nice to see, and I hope that they also bring that to, when they are getting a coffee or even go to the soccer field. And I think I do think employers, they have a more important role than just being an employer. Because employers, they have to take care of their people. I mean, you have to safeguard them, but also they have a societal role to play, right? Because the people who come to work, it's a second home, right? And how they leave work and go to the soccer field to teach their kids, or hockey, whatever, it has a lot of impact. And I think it would be nice and good if the employers, want to create that legacy of doing good. And I think, I know Be Inc. is a way to help in that.
Be Inc. is here to help.
Yes.
Making workplaces more inclusive,
more safe,
to enabling a tool that enables your writing skills to become better. And is it AI powered, or what is it?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
And how do you? That's maybe the last technical question, and then we jump into how do you make sure that if I put a lot of hidden biases in the tool, how do we make sure that the tool doesn't adopt the biases I'm fueling in?
Yeah. Well, that's exactly where my IP lies.
Okay.
No, but seriously, it takes a lot of effort and training to make it this intelligent and niche, because it is very niche.
And it is low in the undercurrent. It's nuanced.
Nuance, context, it's quality. Yeah. And, with this, for me, we're never done developing. It's very good now to go to market. The results are very good. But we have to keep improving, keep learning. So therefore, I open up just a limited amount of spots for, launching customers to co-create this with me, who will have a perk there,
cool.
Really co-create it and make it better for to scale it internationally.
And there are still a few spots open.
Yes, just a few. It's quite popular. So
nice.
But there are a few spots. So if you're listening and this resonates, I'm happy to have a talk.
Discovery, yeah.
But I think it's important to keep developing this, because if we are gonna roll it out in many organizations, hopefully many countries, it is important that this quality keeps growing and growing. But because training the model, that is the complex part. It takes a lot of effort. But you have to train it that you. Yeah.
And you have to train the guardrails too.
Yeah, it's actually, you can see it, I think, as a small language model. I built a small language model, very niche, but very specific to address this issue.
Yeah, niche and specific, yet because of all the nuances, it isn't so niche. Or it isn't so small. So
no.
That's the interesting part. It's also the complex part. But that I think your brain needs that complexity, because otherwise you get bored easily, right?
That's true. Yes.
Starting to get to know you a little.
You're right.
Eline, we're heading towards the end of our conversation. If I look back and turning unfairness into change, wow, what a journey!
Thank you.
A journey. Picture this: we're 5 years later from now on, 5 or maybe 7 years later from now on, and your company is acquired, and you have time, and you have big pockets, and you mentioned philanthropy. What would be the first thing you would love to step into? And
oh, so many. Well, now, but it can change. 7 years
is
a long period. But there are certain topics close to my heart. Well, fairness and safety.
Yeah.
Safety in the broader space. So now I really put it on safe workplaces. But I can imagine that I want to mean something for safe spaces for women in some sort of way, maybe also in other countries. But also, so that I see myself doing, and that's the human side. Or orphanage is, I don't know, something close to my heart as well.
Good to know.
For sure. Then planet. I see human beings and planet. But I think for me that's
oneness.
One.
Yeah.
We are planet.
Yeah.
I don't know the English name, but embossing.
The deforesting.
Deforesting. I think that's really bad. Has a big ripple effect on nature, and without it we can't live. So I think if I go for planet, that would be a topic I would go for, and humanity, safety.
It is interesting, right? I know a young entrepreneur who sold his company quite successful to a big tech audio company, and he's 33 years old. I won't mention his name, but we meet each other quite some time in my role, being responsible for, in some sort of wingman role on a event, and he's most of the time a speaker. And this time he was also talking about the whole startup phase, and but also what he's doing in a one-on-one conversation. Also, he shared a little bit of what he's now going to do, because 33 and serious money on the bank account. What are you going to do? And he told me that there is so much unfairness and inequality in the line of fashion. If you look through the whole way, into the whole channel, into the whole vertical of fashion, and it's so demystifying the whole keten, the whole channel in fashion, and make it more fair and sustainable and equal. So I think you're also on the. I recognize that. I see you being able to hit a home run. So here you are, and maybe we should talk, because my other company is Home Run Ventures. So maybe we should talk. And but not for now. And but that's beautiful, Eline. And
if I may add, sorry,
of course.
But being in tech for 15 years. I see how dependent we are, and getting even more of tech, right? Everything is tech centered. We're all a tech company. Hospitals are also tech companies. But I see that it's built by a certain group of people. It's not representative of the world we're living in. So ideally, but I want to make also the tech sector way more diverse. And for diversity, you have to have, people have to feel really to belong. So you have to have inclusive cultures. So to the tech companies that produce these products and services we're so dependent on, I want them to be created by a fair set of people that are representative.
Beautiful. Eline, last question for now. If you look back to the whole journey we've been through, and we have a beautiful conversation, I truly admire your perseverance and determination and resilience. What are you most proud of?
My son? Yeah.
And what are you most proud of yourself?
Well,
I knew you would choose first. Of course, your son is connected directly to you. What about yourself?
Well, the fact that I'm sitting here today, right in this moment, you want to hear my story for some reason, because I got a story to tell, and I am trying to do good for humanity. So I think that's pretty awesome.
Beautiful. Doesn't come easy, right?
No.
That's why I asked. Eline, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending this time with us. Perhaps something from this conversation is still settling. A perspective, a feeling, or a question that arrived without asking permission. That's often how meaningful change begins. Stories have a way of traveling beyond the moment they're told, finding their way into conversations, quiet decisions, and chapters still unfolding. If someone came to mind while listening, consider sharing this episode with them. And if these conversations continue to resonate, I'd love you to follow Journeys of Empowerment. And if the desire for more clarity, direction and alignment has been quietly growing in the background, there's a space called the Clarity Intensified track, an open door for those moments when reflection begins asking to become movement. Until next time, take this with you gently and see what stays with you. Keep going, keep becoming you.